here to talk to you about a rather ticklish subject. The subject is known as privacy. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you're in a store, if you look up, you see these little hemispheres on the ceiling. Those are cameras watching you in the store. Once you're out in the parking lot, those cameras out in the parking lot also watching you. And then once you're on the road, there are cameras on the road also watching you. So much for that sort of privacy. And then it gets into other things. The next thing we talk about is like at work. You punch in the clock and you have to use your badge to gain access to everything so that management knows where you are at every given moment. There's also the privacy of your telephone conversations, which we know that telecoms now have full permission to monitor on behalf of the government with no consequence. So be aware that that's being watched. And then there's when you watch television. I'm sure that every channel and every program you watch is being monitored. And when you go to the library, the books you check out are probably also cataloged in the database in your reading habits. So I just thought I'd let you know that. Another aspect of privacy is in the medical field. They have come up with a law called HIPAA, which is for medical privacy. And the initial intent was honorable, to make sure that your medical business is kept pretty much between you and your doctor. And that's sort of protecting you at this point. But they're also calling for something called the computerized medical record, which would put all of your medical records into one giant database that could be used anywhere to help treat you, which in a sense is nice in that your records are readily available. But on the other hand, readily available to who? Is the system secure? Can it be hacked? That's something that makes that a little bit of a touchy issue. Also, there's the aspect of your finances. Whenever you go out and you charge something, your charge card and your purchasing patterns are being noted. When you buy things with a check or a debit card, your purchasing habits are being noted. And so that's sort of an invasion of privacy there as well. What other recourse is there? Recourse is actually, there's a wonderful invention that many people have sort of forgotten. It's called cash. This here is a $1 note, and it's cash. The nice thing about cash is there's no tie to anyone's identity. If somebody steals this, all they have is the cash. And there's no proof that I ever had it, but then on the other hand, there's no identity connection, like there would be with a credit card, a debit card, a check, or a driver's license, or a social security number. Those are all identity theft liabilities. Cash has no such liability. If you go on a trip and you are starting to charge things on your trip, your credit card may be turned off because it may look like a pattern that somebody stole your card and went on a vacation. You try to have a vacation and you have the hassle of trying to get your card reactivated. Another problem is, on a vacation, I had a problem with the dollar because even though it says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, all debts, public and private. Yet on the airplane, they would not accept cash for the drinks or meals or whatever. They would take credit card only. I think if I was a litigious person, that I would have grounds for taking that up with them. The nice thing is also that cash doesn't have to rely on computers. You can buy it, here's the money, it's done. And there's no track of it. You have privacy. This is privacy. Much more privacy than you could ever have by an electronic means. When I hear about the prospects of a cashless society, I am appalled, because there would be no privacy. Because you know the government would say that they have dibs on that information, that they would have a right to have it. And so I am a strong believer in cash as a means of purchasing things. When you have this, you could be robbed, and there'd be almost no way to prove that you had it or didn't have it on that hand. But that's all that the thief would get. They would get this note. But you still have your identity. If you had a cashless society, somebody could steal your identity and do all manner of things, and what's your liability under those situations? I don't know, but I don't like it. They claim it would be protected because you would have something personal about your identification. Maybe they want a DNA sample for a biometric. Maybe they'll embed you with a chip, like we do to some pets. Or they'll give you a special card, or a special pin, or something. And then they'll say you don't need cash anymore, because you can just take whatever it is off the shelf and walk out the door. And the sensors and scanners as you walk out the door will simply deduct it from your account. And that would be totally secure because it's part of your person. So I think that is a convenience legal-wise, but I think it is a very great detriment to a society, because if that financial system falls into the wrong hands, you have the worst possible nightmare of a dictatorship that you could imagine. They would control everything. Cash is freedom. Cash is privacy. Cash should stay forever. That is my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Be seeing you.